So I'm going to call the May 21st, 2020 Prudential Committee of the Katuitt Fire District to order. Could I have a roll call, please?
Ray Perron, Treasurer.
Lisa Mycott Kelly, Prudential.
Fran Parks Prudential.
Kelly Eager, Clerk.
Thank you. Is there anyone recording? No one's reporting. Okay. Can we have the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance
To the
to the
flag
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Is there any public comment?
Yes, Cynthia Gallagher, 94 School Street.
Yep.
Okay, I have two issues that I'd like to address this evening. Issue one is if your committee could please clarify for me the following. Within Article 2, Section 6 of our bylaws, it states on any bulletin board designated by the Prudential Committee as an official place of posting. What bulletin board have you guys designated as the official bulletin board for the district?
We've designated the town clerk's posting as being our designated posting place. So she puts it on the website, and it's also on a bulletin board in Town Hall. We also have it on our website, and it's outside of Freedom Hall.
Okay, well, according to the bylaws, it says it has to be on the district's website, the town website, and a bulletin board. So the bulletin board within the district is the one outside of Freedom Hall?
Correct.
Thank you. And then my second comment is, as the committee which oversees spending, I would like to address the vote taken at last night's fire commissioners meeting to purchase a new vehicle for the fire chief using this year's current budget and not waiting till the annual district meeting. If this vehicle is going to be bought without a vote of the residents of Katuitt, I would like to request that the vehicle purchase be the traditional color red and clearly marked with the district's decal so that it can be clearly identified as property of the Katuitt Fire Department from afar. Thank you.
Any other public comment?
I do have a question. I've looked at the draft warrant.
No.
The numbers in that warrant represent a 13.5% increase over last year's budget.
No, we're not going to just, the treasurer is going to go over all of that, after we close public comment.
Okay, great.
Any other public comment?
Yes, I do. This is Carol Zace, 86 Putnam Avenue. I was just wondering if you guys could consider doing video taping in the future of the meetings. These video conferences have been very helpful in understanding who's talking by being able to see the person for not only Prudential, but water and fire. So I don't know if that's something that the fire district could look into doing for the future. Just as a thought, it's just been really helpful, particularly on the boards where there's all men's voices. You don't know who's talking. And even on these, where you just don't know who's talking when you're listening to the audio. So just a food for thought for the future. And then I'm also was wondering if there's been an update on absentee ballots.
Not yet.
Do you know when there might be?
I'm waiting to hear from Mr. Boudreau.
Is there a deadline that it needs to be met for that decision?
Charlie?
I believe Mark is at that decision that we will use absentee ballots. The last I knew, I sent him a copy of the bylaw when the bylaw was amended and added the absentee ballot. And that was yesterday.
Okay, thank you.
I have a concern. This is Jessica Rapp Cressetti, 1611 Main Street. I am of the understanding that at last evening's Fire Commission meeting, a capital request was passed by the commissioners, and that request was for vehicles. I have concerns when at the April 14th meeting, the discussion of vehicles and a capital expenditure of the such was discussed and requested by Commissioner Zeiss for postponement on that capital item in the warrant. And the discussion was that it would stay on the warrant and for discussion during the district meeting. In light of the fact that many of our neighbors are facing foreclosure due to the pandemic, I think it behooves the Prudential Committee to be the fiscal watchdogs for this district. And I don't believe that the expenditure, I don't see the need for the commissioners to circumvent the district voters by using surplus cash. I'd like to see the surplus cash be used to help the taxpayers of the district. Thank you.
Any further public comment? Thanks. Okay, I'm going to close public comment. Ray, I want to give you a treasurer's report.
Yes, I'll begin with the April report, starting with revenue. But let me back up. Overall, things are on budget or below budget, with really the sole exception of tax collections. And as anticipated, tax collections are lagging slightly, and I would anticipate that they would end up the year. Probably right now we're reflecting 77% of what the anticipated tax revenue was. I imagine that that's probably going to finish somewhere in the 80 to 85% range as things get processed late in the month of June and actually get to the district then in early July. On the other hand, the water department is 150% of its budget. And looking at the parts, water rates and meter rental, which are basically the major components of the new rate structure, are at about $876,000 right now, which is, if I can check my numbers, about 154% of what it was relative, or what we had anticipated in the budget. So I believe that we have a strong stream of revenue from the water department that will more than offset the shortfall in taxes for this fiscal year. The fire department is slightly ahead of budget with the ambulance, although it is surprisingly, and I think in one sense, thankfully, behind last year, which means that our village has not been impacted as severely as we might have feared with the virus. So overall, the revenue stands at 4.2 at the end of April, which is 88% of the budgeted 4.7 million. It's up approximately 400,000 from last year. Again, largely, as I said, due to the increased water rate revenue. On the expenditure side, the Prudential is on budget. The overall looks like it's slightly ahead, but again, that is because of the one-time insurance premiums. Although I will have to say that I would anticipate that the salary figure will be higher than budget. The reason being that working remotely has been a learning curve experience, and in particular, working with the auditors remotely has been challenging in terms of time. The fire department is well below budget, both salaries, which are, you bear with me, salaries which are at 79% of budget. Again, at this juncture, we should be at about 83%. So they're below budget at this point, and their expenditures are at 62%. The water department salaries are right on budget. Their expenses are below budget at about 57%. Freedom Hall is below budget, both salaries and expenses. Streetlights are below budget, although electricity is higher than budget, but we have been lucky in that we have not had repairs this year, which means we should end up under budget in that area. Debt payment is have been completed and they are on budget. Employee benefits are on budget, and transfers have all been completed. The second page that I sent out dealt with the appropriations, and there have been some changes in that. There are a number of small appropriations that have, excuse me, a number of appropriations have a small unspent surplus, which originally I had proposed as a warrant, but upon consultation with the auditors, it's unnecessary to take that to the district. The Prudential Committee is empowered to close those warrants in any case with $50,000 or less of unspent surplus. So a number of those I have taken off of the warrant, as you will see. Probably the most notable ones are the fire station repairs. We spent about $13,000 when the virus hit. That rather stopped all that work. It seemed rather uneconomical to borrow money to cover that as authorized. So I think we can close out a couple of the smaller appropriations, cover those expenditures, and then rescind $15,000 of that $100,000 borrowing authority, as we will not need that going forward. I'm proposing that we close out the space review and a couple of other the small ones to cover that fire station repair. The large one, as you noticed on the bottom of that, is still under review. The auditors were unable to help me at this juncture on the verification of what the source of that $100,000 surplus was. And that's important because it determines what we can use that money for going forward. So it would be prudent to simply put that as an understudy item that we will resolve going forward. We have no need of it as we have ample free cash, which is covering all of the short-term debt service in the budget. Are there any questions on April results?
So do you have a rough figure altogether of these funds, how much it's going to add to free cash, the funds that we're going to clear?
30.
I don't at this juncture. There's a couple of things in play. Water department is looking at some end of year expenditures, and we heard the fire department had taken some actions yesterday as well. I'll await the resolution of that before I make an estimate on the free cash. Obviously, the the water department surplus revenue will contribute to that. But I just haven't done the arithmetic on it yet, waiting to get a little more visibility from water and fire.
Okay. Lisa, do you have any questions?
I'm good, thank you, Fran.
I had asked Ray, what increase in the budget are we expecting this year, Ray, over last year? I saw a number 13.5% floating around.
No, it's not 13.5%.
The budget, are you talking about the budget for 21?
Yeah,
Well, overall, it's up 1.45%. Taxes are estimated to go down 7%.
love it. Thank you. I did have a question, Ray. Excuse me, Fran, can I ask one more question? I thought some of the water department funds that they had coming in were going to fund their own stabilization fund.
Yeah,
Yes, they are.
Why is the warrant asking for 45 grand?
because it has to be transferred into that stabilization fund.
Okay.
Anything else, Ray?
Not on the April results. I passed out the budget. I believe it's now tied to the warrant. I wondered if there were any questions on that.
No, I didn't have any questions.
I I haven't had a chance, to be honest, to go through it completely because I just got it right before the final revised, because I know we got a couple of revised drafts right before the meeting, but
Yeah, I
Well,
apologize for that, but there was input coming in. And I wanted to be as accurate as possible.
Okay. All right, thanks. So let's move on to the warrant. And I'd like to start with where we're going to have the meeting. Now, can everybody see this?
mhm.
That's West Barnstable's meeting in the fire station parking lot. I believe they have a quorum, maybe the chief knows, of 65 people.
No, not 65.
Not 65?
No,
25.
30. I think it's 25 or 30.
Oh, no, it's more than that.
Oh,
No,
No, I don't think so.
no.
Okay,
we have no quorum required.
we have no quorum. So, so we're allowed to hold the meeting outdoors. We can't hold it indoors, but we can hold the meeting outdoors. So I've been in contact with the town, trying to, first thinking about using the school, but that's obviously out, and I never got a response. And then I decided that probably a good place to have it would be Lowell Field, in that parking lot. Because if you look at, as Charlie said, we have somewhere between 40 and 50 people. And this layout that West Barnstable did for their quorum was 42 feet by 36 feet. So I thought Lowell Field would be good. And I finally got in touch with Lynn Poyant, and they're having a meeting this weekend about implementing the governor's plans for beach use. And so she said she'd bring it up. But the problem is that the warrant says that we're going to be having it at Freedom Hall. And Charlie, you have to get this into the paper tomorrow, correct?
No, you have to close, but I can wait a few days.
Okay. So how many days can you wait?
Let's see. About 2 weeks prior to the meeting.
Oh, okay, all right,
Because notice is 7 days.
okay, all right. So, you know, they're gonna meet and discuss it this weekend. And I don't know, Lisa, what do you think about, um,
Well, I think other than the school, that's obviously the largest space that we have. How many, I know it was 42 by 36, how many did that, how many people could they take at that meeting with that measurement? Do you know
How
what the
many peop-
maximum?
how many people do you think were there, Ray?
They met their quorum, which I think is about 35.
I think it's only 25.
No,
I'm
I mean,
looking at
I
the,
think there were about 35 there.
okay, okay. And I'm sorry, but Charlie, how many on average do we have?
About 42.
I guess my biggest concern, obviously, about having it outside is weather.
Yeah, right.
How about the lighting? What's the lighting in the parking lot? Or we have it during the day?
Well, have it at 6 o'clock and that should be fine. I also asked Lynn about, COMM had theirs in their parking lot. They had a tent. Their tent cost $1,000 or thereabouts. And,
What about the sheriff's department's tent?
well, Lynn doesn't think they'd let us put a tent up in the park at Lowell anyway,
Okay.
but she's gonna ask. So,
How about the Katuitt Center for the Arts?
I don't think that's,
Well, they have that larger parking lot in the back.
yeah,
It's, you know, behind the building, I guess, would be
Yeah.
where that would have to be.
Yeah.
That's gravel though, I think.
Yeah.
Please correct me if I'm wrong. But I think that part of is the whole parking lot gravel?
no, I think there's some paved, but
Okay.
the rest is gravel, yeah.
Well, I think that Lowell Park makes the most sense. If we can't get the school to respond, it would have been great to get the school to respond. But certainly we could look at, I'm happy to drive by the Katuitt Center for the Arts and look at it. I've just, you know, I've been there, but I haven't paid attention to holding an outside district meeting there.
Annual meeting out there, yeah, right. So not having it at Freedom Hall will, you know, entail, at a minimum, somehow getting tables and chairs there.
Mhm.
We'll need to have, won't be able to use our current signs that we have to announce the meeting. I'll have to get some printed up with a new location. And I was thinking that, you know, probably we should do a mailing, a card to everyone to let them know the time and where it's going to be when we figure out where it's going to be.
Mhm.
I think that's you know, we can't, the Civic Association only goes out to a little over 400 people, and we just don't have a, you know, an email listing of people in the village. So I think sending out a notice would be the most prudent thing to do. So that's all I have to say about location. So hopefully after this weekend, I'll learn that you know, they'll let us have it, and that'll make it easy. So
Nothing's been easy.
yeah, right, yeah. Well, wishful thinking.
What do we do though? I mean, what if there's real severe weather? You know, a tent is great, but if we're having a thunderstorm or something, what happens in that event?
The moderator can recess
Okay.
to it
Yeah. So,
in 30 days.
Okay. Again. Okay.
great. So so we need to approve this warrant. I do have a correction. It should be June 24th and 25th and not the 23rd and 24th.
No, it's 23rd and 24th.
Wednesday's Tuesday's the 23rd?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And Wednesday's the 24th.
Yeah.
And So, why don't we discuss Jessica's concern about the replacement vehicle. I also listened to the meeting last night, and so you know, the chief's current vehicle isn't in good shape.
Mhm.
What I understand is currently just had new shocks and the transmission, some transmission work done. Right now, there's a very, districts and fire chiefs or fire departments are buying up chief's cars because they don't expect them to be around in the future. So the chief has found 2 dealers that they each have 6 available at this present time. There's no telling if in a month, if we, give this decision to the, make this decision at the annual meeting about it, if those cars will be available. There are police vehicles available, which are essentially the same car, but they have souped up engines and they cost $2,200 more. So it's, I believe the cost is $42,000. Paul, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I think the vehicle itself is $37,400. And with the lights and siren and everything else, it should be approximately $43,000 to $44,000.
Thank you.
And we've backed off, obviously, given the recent turn of events. I know that at one point they were asking for 2 vehicles.
Right, yeah.
So now we're just looking to replace the chief's vehicle.
Just we're looking to replace the chief's vehicle.
I see that the article requesting that the chief's vehicle be donated has been removed.
Right.
Would they be trading that vehicle in for any credit against, a trade-in? No?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Chief?
No, the existing vehicle, it's only got a trade-in value of about $5,000. It would become the deputy's vehicle.
Okay, so instead of that second vehicle,
Yeah.
the deputy will use that for now?
Correct.
Okay.
So,
I don't know whether this has any bearing on the discussion, but if it were to be in the warrant, I would have proposed, as I did in the previous draft, that it be funded by free cash. So whichever is decided to pay out of surplus fiscal 20 funds or free cash in fiscal 21, there would be no tax impact, and I believe it would be fair to say that the financial impact would be the same.
so, and there's a chance that if we waited till 21, the cost of the vehicle could be more expensive.
Yes. That's what I understand.
Yeah.
May I ask what color the vehicle will be, Chief?
Black.
So, I fully understand that there are a great many people out there that are having hardships, and it's been difficult for everybody. Are we going to be getting any more federal funds, Ray, that you know of?
Not that I'm aware of. They just announced, the state just announced in a bulletin today that money is going to municipalities, but there was no mention of districts.
We're a municipality.
Pardon?
We're a municipality, though very tiny.
I will check on that.
Okay. So, Chief, do you think there's any possibility of getting a better price for this vehicle? We could send Chris Wiseman's wife up.
I've called around. They usually have them cheaper out of Texas, but they've all sold out of them. We can get one right now. It's $2,300 less than potentially it could be a month from now. I've called several dealerships. I've called several state contract prices. So no, I think 37.4 is about the cheapest we're going to get it for.
Okay. All right. Lisa?
And I assume, Chief, is this the same type of, it's a Ford, is it the same type of vehicle as the vehicle that you have now?
No, it's a Chevy Yukon, the Chevy version of what I
Okay.
have right now.
All right. Yeah. So they're looking for us to vote on, is that what we're being asked to do tonight?
Well, it's what it's suggested that we're being asked to do, and I'm not 100% sure in the great overall scheme of things that, $40,000 is going to make that huge difference. The taxes are going down 7%. Would that have any impact, Ray?
No, that's what I was saying, that if we put that back on the,
No, but if we don't get a new car at all, if he doesn't get a new car at all, would that $40,000 have any impact on the taxes?
no, it would not have any impact on the taxes.
Okay.
It would flow to next year to free cash. Everything else being equal.
Close my door. Excuse me. Sorry.
Well, I think if it wouldn't have any impact, I honestly think it's going to save us money in the long run. If we don't do anything, the middle of next year, the chief's car could just absolutely croak. So we'd have an unexpected expense. If we wait till the annual meeting, all of these vehicles might be gone. There's no way to tell whether they're going to be available or not.
If it can be purchased with no substantive impact, I'm not opposed. I recognize the fact that the chief's vehicle, trade-in value is $5,000. It's probably limping along. And I also recognize the fact that, it's helpful to have a second vehicle for the deputy chief. With respect to the color, honestly, they'll match, correct? Yours is black now, Chief. So I don't have any problem with that either.
Yeah, okay. So I think my recommendation is that we just allow the fire commissioners to go ahead and use their unused funds, operating expenses, money from this year to purchase a new vehicle. So I didn't see any other changes to the warrant. Ray, is this all set?
I think the warrant is set as far as I'm aware.
Okay.
Charlie's given me some input. Lisa has been through it. I think we've teed it up to the budget, or the budget teed up to the warrant.
So I'm going to make a motion that the Prudential Committee approves articles recommends Articles 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, there's no 15.
15 was the former expense. No, I'm sorry, we'll have to renumber 16 and 17
Okay,
to be 15 and 16.
15 and 16, okay. 15 and 16.
Actually,
I have 15 as being the old bill.
17 is the one we don't want to do. 16 we did. That's the $15,000 on the fire station. So 17, I would recommend we pull.
Ray, 15 on my warrant is the 76601 for the old bill.
That's
Yes,
Article 6.
I made a change and just sent that out just before the meeting.
Yeah.
Charlie, I apologize. I moved that up to number 6.
So, so you don't want Article 17, now 16?
That's correct. The one to rescind the 180,000.
Okay.
Okay, because that's not there, okay. And then the other two articles will be withdrawn from what we can.
Yeah, right.
But they don't have to be on, do they? They don't have to be on the warrant though, right?
That's correct. They do not. I simply put them there, so
Okay,
I had suggested them before and I was withdrawing them.
okay. So, just to finish my motion, the Prudential Committee recommends Article 15. Is there a second?
I believe it's Article 1 through 16, correct?
No, it's 1 through 15.
Okay, that's right. I'm sorry, because 17 is coming up. I'm sorry. There's a second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So, Freedom Hall. After we had that re-landscaped, I've been going up and weeding and putting down mulch for the last few years. And I'm not going to be able to do that this year. So I'd like to have Chris do it, our administrative assistant. She has experience. She's considerably less expensive than having Matthew do it. And it'll probably, it doesn't really take that long to do, but it's already starting to look fairly shabby, but I just, I can't do it this year with my shoulder. So I'd like to have approval to allow Chris to do that work for us this year.
I'd offer to do it, but nothing would live, so I don't have any problem with that. And thank you, Fran, for having taken care of that all these years for the district.
Yeah, no, okay. So I don't think we need a motion for that, just wanted to make sure that everybody knew. And policy advisory, I think that needs, full discussion of that needs to wait till,
Right.
maybe
Silvio.
in the fall. I distributed it to both all the other members of the other committees to look at it. And, and we need to have a full meeting, I think, with them to discuss it and see what parts of it we wish to implement and which parts we don't wish to implement. And did you get a chance to look at those minutes?
I did. I received them the second time. I'm sure I received them the first time too, so I apologize, but I did.
That's okay. So I'll accept a motion to approve the minutes for the Prudential Committee for, correct, that's the wrong one.
Yeah, okay.
Do you have the dates?
Hold on, I can pulling up things here. Oh, where are they? Monday. Oh, hold on. March. Was it Monday, March 16th?
Yes.
Yes.
And then April, is it April 20th? Or April 4th? It was-
Just keep pulling up those. March ones. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I'm pretty sure it was April 4th,
No, April 7th
April 7th. Okay,
and April 20th.
April 7th and April 20th.
Mm-hmm. Sorry about that.
That's okay. So I'll second that motion to approve those minutes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great, okay. Well, so I don't think there's any other business that we need to discuss. Charlie, as soon as I hear from the town, I'll let you know about where we're going to be having the meeting,
Okay.
okay? And I hope everybody has a enjoyable Memorial Day.
Thank you.
Yeah,
You
go
too.
to the beach and break the rules.
Be on the beach.
We're adjourned.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Lisa.
Thanks.
Thank you, Paul.